And so we are currently in September, and with that, Inheritance Trials has changed over to new different enemies, and of course with that, also new rules to follow. As always, in this video, we're going to be breaking down some of the better characters to use and some of my recommendations of characters that are best put to use in this month for Inheritance Trials. As always, just to quickly explain in case you are new to the game, every enemy except the bosses in this quest do feature Iron Skin. And with that, they take around 80% less damage unless you inflict them with a status summon, or if you have a particular skill, ignore Iron Skin. So ideally, to best go against this quest to have the easiest time possible, you want to A, use a character that has an increased chance or a super easy time to inflict status summons, or B, use a character that can just outright ignore it. In addition to that, for the quest details, what you can see here is that the enemies themselves are Sorpers, so those that do have Sorper Killer will be getting around 60% more damage. Definitely do recommend bringing Killer this time around. If possible, try to avoid bringing a Captain character, as the enemies themselves do have Captain Killer, therefore they're doing more damage to you. Avoid bringing characters that can inflict poison, as the enemies themselves are immune to it. And then in every given map, there will be a bunch of burn pools. So characters that are immune to burn have an easier time going through this quest, but you can maneuver around it, but it definitely will be a bit of an annoyance. As always though, the characters on your screen right now are all characters that increase the amount of super links or potions you can get by using them in this particular quest. Of course, the main reason why you are farming Inheritance Trials is to get access to super links or potions to allow your other characters to get upwards to level 20 links. Slots. And by using any of these characters in this particular quest, you are getting 5 additional super links or potions. So ideally, it's recommended you have 3 to 4 of these characters in your lobby, but it really depends on how you want to tackle it, right? Do you want to do full links or lobbies, or do you rather prefer to bring just a really good character to carry some of these characters through this quest? Because not all of them, despite of course being ideally want to be used here, aren't more so really recommended, as the runs will be significantly slower, and me personally, I prefer faster runs, even if it does come at the cost of me not using a super links or character. But if you are just trying to get very easy runs, carries for example, there are many people out there, myself included, which will carry you just for having a super links or character. So if you do have access to them, you might want to use them. Some more than others though, and that is what we're going to talk about in a second. Because having a look at some of the better characters to use for this particular quest, first up in the technique attribute, we have Spirits are forever with you, Toshiro. Toshiro's going to be one of the better characters for this quest, mainly due to the fact that he does have Sorper Killer, a really high damage output thanks to his 40% Berserker, Frenzy +1, 40% more strong attack damage when you are at full stamina, with an additional 20% full stamina damage boost. Alongside that, if he does inflict his status summon, he then gets an 80% stat boost to his Spiritual Pressure stat, has good set of strong attacks, and also does come with a gauge effect. And that will not only reduce the strong attacks that he does have at full completion, it will heal himself by 30%, and also allow him to do significantly more damage, since he then does pick up an additional 100% strong attack damage. He's immune to every status summon, so you don't have to worry about the burn pools on the floor, but keep in mind he himself is a captain, so he is taking more damage, but I feel like the benefits in this case outweigh the negatives. Very solid character, one of my recommendations for the technique attribute. Our next recommendation, of course, is going to be 1000-Year Blood War Uryu. In Uryu's case, the main reason why you would want to bring him is for the fact that he himself does have a Sorper Killer, can go through Iron Skin, but he is also a super links or character. So by using him in your team, you're getting 5 additional links or potions and also 5 additional super links or potions. He might not be the fastest character despite him actually having Pierce Iron Skin, for example, but he still does have a respectable damage output with his Berserker value and also Frenzy +1. But what I like about the character the most is that he is a good team support character. So even if you aren't using him, having him on your team is going to be really good, since he does provide every technique character with an additional 20% strong attack damage and also a 20% team heal every time you move into another map. So he's really good to have whether you're using him or just having him on the team by someone else using him. And remember, he's also increasing the drops that you do get. Those are going to be the 2 main recommendations, at least from me. There are of course some other characters like Outback Ichigo. Overall, still a solid character. Damage output isn't aging the best, as we do go into really high damage output characters. In this case, he only has Frenzy +1 with a 60% Berserker and also weakening on every single attack. But in this case, he is immune to every status summon. That of course includes Burn, and of course he does have a Sorper Killer. If for some reason you haven't had the best luck over the last 2 or so years and still have this character, maybe you have him max transcended since he's been out for 2 years, still a solid character to bring in this particular Inheritance Trials quest. After that, your next best thing to do is to use characters that have a high damage output that also has an increased chance to inflict status summons. In this case, one of the first characters coming to mind is the newly released Bambietta. She's designed to never really have killer unless the enemies are captains. Unfortunately, this time they are not. But due to her Frenzy +2, Berserker value, full stamina damage value, her Barrage attack SA2, and of course also the increased chance to inflict status damage alongside the SP boosts, she's usable in any inheritance trials regardless of the killer effects. You do have to be a tad bit careful since she wants to stay at full stamina, and she herself isn't immune to burn. So giving her that immunity and learning how to play with her in this particular quest, you should have a very easy time with her. Same goes with Chojuro. A more of a support character, but definitely can play the role of a DPS character thanks to his Frenzy +2, Berserker value, but most importantly, increased chance to inflict status augments. Might not be the fastest character, but compared to any other technical character that doesn't have Super Killer, like himself, he is going to be one of the better characters for this attribute. I'm editing this one in last because somehow I forgot to mention it. Of course, Queen Ichigo is going to be an amazing character here. Frenzy +2, increased chance to inflict both weakening and also drain. On top of that, when you do inflict a status augment, you get an 80% SP boost. Quincy Ichigo as a whole is always going to be one of the better characters to use in any inheritance trials, even when he doesn't have killer. That then of course leads us into the heart attribute, where one of your better characters as always is going to be 1000 Year Blood War round 16 Ichigo. Very high damage output thanks to his Frenzy +2, and of course also 100% more damage to enemies not afflicted by an ailment. To pair with that, he does go through Iron Skin, so regardless of the killer, keep in mind he does not have killer here, he just does a ridiculous amount of damage, and he's also super fast and safe to play around with, given the fact that he does have long stride, an extra flash step, and also complete stat immunity, which you can share to your entire team. Since his release almost a year ago, he has been one of the better characters to use, and now is still no exception. A very similar character in nature is of course someone like the swimsuit version of Rangiku, in her case a lower damage output, but still good damage output nonetheless, and most importantly can go through Iron Skin, with the fact that she does do 100% more damage to enemies not afflicted by an ailment. The benefit with Rangiku though, is that she does increase the amount of super links or potions and also links or potions you can get. So that overall makes her one of the better characters to use for this quest, even though she doesn't have killer. Once more, she herself is not immune to burn, so you might want to give her some links / accessories to make it so she can be immune to burn, just to make the runs overall a lot more smoother to say the least. Alongside that, of course, you do have the Burned Witch version of Nini, a character that I haven't actually used in quite some time, but still holds up relatively well in this case. Main reason for that is because she herself does have Super Killer, she has weakening on every single attack with Frenzy +2, and of course also does have an increased chance to inflict weakening, which therefore allows her to go through the Iron Skin ability. An extra benefit with this character that she does increase the amount of super links or potions and also normal links or potions you can get, so overall a solid farmer if you do lack someone like Rangiku. Another great character, good or reliable, 6th anniversary Aizen, Super Killer, great strong attack kit, still great damage output thanks to his Frenzy +2 and 20% more damage at full stamina. Considering the fact that he can apply both weakening and also drain, you can have an easy time and a fun time because Aizen is still great. And of course, last but definitely not least, Kyuubi. The newest character in Bleach Brave Souls, really high damage output thanks to his Frenzy +2. When he inflicts a stat summon, which he can inflict drain, he gets an 80% stat boost to his spiritual pressure stat, and every kill he gets 2% more damage, which does eventually cap out 100% more damage. So even though he himself does not have killer, it just doesn't matter. He's an absolute damage machine, super fun to play with, and if you're looking to have a fun time with the newest character in the game, Kyuubi is still a great option to use in the heart attribute. Having a look into the power attribute, unfortunately when it comes to super killers, they are lacking a tad bit, but one character that is worth bringing regardless of the enemies you are going against is of course 8th anniversary Ichigo. With Frenzy +3, an increased chance to inflict status ailments, and of course also a Vortex SA2, this character is constantly inflicting status ailments which include drain and also weakening. It means he and your team can do more damage, the enemies themselves are doing less damage, and he's constantly staying at full stamina. He has a great damage output, but the reason why I'm recommending him is because he's also a great autoer. I've been farming a lot of potions over the last week in Inheritance Trials just by using him as my main auto character. He is after all the best auto character in the game, and the more dupes to this character you get, the easier time he has autoing. So he's a character you can either manually use or just auto, and he does a good job at autoing thanks to the fact that he's just constantly applying those status ailments. Ichigo of course is an amazing character right now, and always in any IT to be fair, is the time he can start to shine. If you are looking to use a power super killer though, one of your better options in this case is going to be the Spirits Are Forever With You version of Kenpachi. You do have to be a tad bit careful with him because he is quite the glass cannon character. He does have a great damage output thanks to his Frenzy +2 and high Berserker value, but only when you are at full stamina. He isn't immune to burn, he is a captain, so he is taking more damage, so do be careful when actually using him. If you know you're not going to take any damage and you've affected the map of this particular Inheritance Trials, and you can work around those shortcomings, you should clear his quest very fast, because after all, he is the Kenpachi. 1000-Year Blood War Yamamoto is always going to be a great character in any Inheritance Trials quest. Hopefully you have him worked on, because I know a lot of people have. He has been one of the better characters in the game over the last year. Frenzy +1, good Berserker value, and when you do inflict a status ailment, which in his case you can apply both burn and also weakening, you then get an 80% stat boost to your spiritual pressure stat. His Vortex allows him to have great crowd control, and of course allows him to do a great amount of damage. And considering the fact that he is immune to burn, you might have an easy time going through this quest. Keep in mind though, he himself is actually a captain, so he is taking more damage. But if you have no other better option, Yama is still a great character nonetheless. Looking to use a character that can increase the amount of Linkster potions you can get? Well, in that case, right now, the best one is going to be Neliel. She herself is an Aranka, so she is taking less damage. She can apply stats which do include weakening, and considering the fact that she does have Frenzy +2, an increased chance to inflict status ailments, and of course also does increase the amount of Super Linkster potions you can get, she makes her a good manual character, while also increasing the amount of drops you can get also. She's immune to every status ailment, so if you are a Neliel fan looking to get more potions, this Neliel can be just for you. Alongside that, mana version of Yumachika is still a solid character, does lack on the damage output and also range, but he does actually ignore Iron Skin, which does overall make him a solid character nonetheless. Personally, I wouldn't bring him. I would rather opt in to use someone like 8th Anniversary Ichigo. Despite him not increasing the amount of drops you can get, the quality of life of just playing with the character is significantly better. But Yumachika is a good character if, again, you are looking to get more drops per soul ticket. That then leads us into the speed attribute, which is probably the attribute that has the easiest time tackling this particular quest. For starters, Tensei Zangetsu is the best character to use in this particular quest. For starters, Tensei Zangetsu is going to be the best character to use for the month of September. Not only is this character a super Linkster character, so by using him you're getting 5 additional Linkster potions and also super Linkster potions. He is also a Super Killer, is immune to burn, and has a great damage output thanks to his Frenzy +1, Berserker value, and also 100% more damage to enemies not afflicted by an ailment. And to wrap that up, he does pierce Iron Skin, so that therefore makes him the best farmer for this quest, but also just one of the better characters for this quest periods. If you have Tensei and you're low on Super Linkster potions, right now is the best time to use him and just to stack up on a lot of power Super Linkster potions. Don't have him? Well, of course, Yashu is going to be a great substitute. While she herself does not increase the amount of Super Linkster potions you can get, she is just a solid powerhouse character that is going to make quick work of this quest. Main reason is that she herself is a Super Killer. She is immune to every stat summon while potentially healing your team every time you move into another map. She has a great set of strong attacks and just a really high damage output thanks to her Frenzy +2, Berserker value, full stamina damage. When you inflict a stat summon, she gets an 80% SP boost, and then she also does have Rampage, so every kill you do get, the stronger this character gets. And the fact that she does have Killer makes it the best time to actually start using her. Once more, she herself is a captain, but it just doesn't matter. You're rarely going to get attacked with this character because most things will end up dead before you even get a chance to. Missing out on those two characters, someone like 7th Anniversary Uru is going to be a great character here. Frenzy +2 can apply weakening and also drain, which therefore means his survivability is going to be quite great since you're constantly weakening and staying at full stamina. His high damage output, especially with the gauge effect, will allow you to brute force your way through this quest. And while he doesn't have Killer, while he doesn't increase the amount of pots you can get, he's still a solid option, especially if you have this character duped out. Same can be said for Macy. Great damage output, especially when she does inflict status ailments, has good crowd control, can inflict status ailments, not immune to burn herself, so you want to make sure you can get around that, but she does lower the recharge of every strong attack by 20% every time you move into another map, and that will allow your other characters, like Tenta for example, if you are playing with him, to get their strong attack back a tad bit faster, to overall get a faster clear time. Don't have her, but you're still trying to increase the amount of Super Linkster potion you can get. Well, in that case, Akon is going to be a solid choice here. Not the best character to bring, but he does have an increased chance to inflict status ailments, and that in combination with the fact that he can also get 5 more Linkster potions, 5 more Super Linkster potions, while also increasing your strong attack damage by 20% for your entire team. He can be a good support while also getting bonus drops. And last but definitely not least, we have the mind attribute, and of course your best character for that is going to be the newly released 8th anniversary White. Considering the fact that he does the Super Killer, he's immune to every stat element with a very high damage output thanks to his Frenzy +2. When you do inflict a stat element, which he does have an increased chance to do so, you then get an 80% stat boost to your Spiritual Pressure stat, and alongside that, if you do inflict a stat element, you then do 100% more damage to those enemies afflicted by him. Right now, he's the best mind character to use in any given quest, right now, especially since he does a Super Killer, and right now, he's also been my go-to character for the mind attribute. He's a really fun character, super safe to play with since he does constantly heal himself thanks to his drain. He has a high damage output, and he's constantly going through the Iron Skin since he does have an increased chance to inflict status augments. To a lesser degree, but still a solid character, 7th anniversary Ichigo is going to hold up quite well here. Great crowd control, can inflict both weakening and also paralysis. Every 5 seconds, he has a 12% chance per enemy to inflict a status augment. He's immune to every status augment, and of course has a good damage output thanks to his Frenzy +1, Berserker value, and also 80% SP boost. His SA1 does bring him down to the tad bit, but still a solid character if you have no one else better to use. And his soul bomb is pretty much ensuring that you're going to go through the final stage in just one soul bomb. Looking to increase the amount of links or potions you can get per soul ticket, well in that case Balgo right now is going to be one of the better characters to use since he does have a good damage output, Frenzy +1, good Berserker value, SP boost, very similar to a lot of other characters. But in his case, alongside increasing the amount of super links or potions you can get, he has the increased chance to inflict stat augments, which in his case include both weakening and also drain, allowing him to easily stay at full stamina, allowing your team to do more damage and the enemies themselves doing less damage back to you. He isn't immune to any status augment, so you want to make sure he can get immune to burn. But other than that, solid character, especially considering the fact that he is a farmer. Of course, alongside that, you have someone like Aaroniero, very similar in nature, is a super linkster character, isn't a captain, so he's taking less damage, but he is increased the amount of super links or potions you can get, and has an increased chance to inflict stat augments, which in this case is weakening. Of course, won't be the fastest character, very similar to Bargo, but they will go through his quest relatively easy with their increased chance to do so, and their play time should still be respectable, especially considering the fact that you are getting more potions just by using this character. And with that said, that was the quick breakdown of this month's Inheritance Trials. There's a lot of great characters to use. In the comments below, let me know who you plan to use for this month. For me, these are the main characters that I am going to be using in each individual attribute. I'm having a lot of fun using these characters. Some of them are recent characters that I just picked up over the last month or two, and it's great to see some of them now have killer, because it makes this quest even easier. Again, it comes down to you and how you want to play this mode. Do you want to just use links or characters, or do you want to use some of the better characters in the game and just carry other links or characters? Because that's basically what I've been doing. I prefer it that way, the runs are faster, and I'm having more fun, not forcing myself to use a mediocre character, or a character that isn't really designed to be used in this quest when they don't have killer, for example. And after all, I'm pulling for these new characters, I'm going to use them, and right now is the time that I have been using them. Hope you guys enjoyed the video though. I'll see you guys next time, take care, and peace.